Hey everybody, happy Friday. Yeah, there's an issue with the sound there. Hope you're all okay. Welcome to Wacky Weekend Lite, the Arty show without Arty, but maybe his obnoxious Australian buddy Attila will be here. Attila. So hello Randall, hello Greg. Jackie, hi, if you're still listening in the background. Welcome in, Closet Branch. Dirk from Southern Cross Rail System. Hello, hello. Randall Ellison, Hot Dog Pilot. Chris from the Valleys. Welcome in, welcome in. Mark from Zantech. Hello, hello. Hope you're all doing well. Anybody listening in the background hasn't popped in to say hello yet. Again, it's always so hard to follow up my Friday live stream and have something new and different to talk about on Saturday. Well, hello, Les. I hope you're doing well. Great to see you. Awesome to see you. Very happy to have you here. Hello, YouTube user. Welcome in. I have been working on a project today. I have finished this project. Obviously, a lot of things have happened this week for me, but I talked about them in my live stream yesterday, and most of you were in my live stream yesterday. Had a colonoscopy plus on Thursday and was shaken up. After my live stream yesterday, I went upstairs and I ordered dinner for Joyce and me, and I just started crashing. I was tired. You know, I don't know if it's post-anesthesia side effects a day later, but I started crashing at 7 o'clock. I'm trying to keep my eyes open because if I fall asleep then, I'm not going to sleep at night. So I forced myself to stay awake, which proved to be bad because then I stayed awake until midnight before I finally conked out. Hey, Ray Ron, how are you? Sound is a little muddy. This microphone of mine, which is the most expensive microphone I've ever paid for, it acts up. I don't know what it is. Let me go into my settings and see if I can wake it up. Yeah, it says it's on this one, and everything here says it's working. Nope, I don't get it. Yeah, this microphone is a little bit of a pain in the patootie sometimes. Well, let me see. I'm still getting, where is that? Hang on a second. I gotta fix something here. This might do it. I was trying to do something that probably screwed everything up. So, oops. Now I just shut everything down. But yeah, as you can see, I'm ready to go here because I'm just that prepared. Hey, Lee, how are you? Hey, Stormy Sky Productions, welcome in, welcome in. So, yeah, my mic, all my information says everything's going out, but yeah, things are getting better already. So I think there was some background interference with something I was trying to do. And let me see if I can fix that. Okay. So that might eliminate some of the competition that was going on. So anyhow, so last week at the time on Arty's side of the show, I was showing off the work I did. So most of you probably saw the video and you saw that I replaced a bunch of turnouts with some double slips to streamline and make it just look aesthetically more pleasing. And we are going to eventually continue this process. There's another big stage, and I'll have a video coming out late tonight, early tomorrow, that explains the next stage. But I did do some work that will also be in the video. And I am going to try to show you what I did. So I just have to switch to another camera, which hopefully will work. So let me I'm going to come back and turn my mic around just so, because this mic has a good range. But what I did today was, here are my two lanes that lead up, the two lines that lead up to my Bremen parking area, the track 6 running, and then the 5 parking areas that I have over here on the Bremen side. And depending on how observant you were, I originally had 2 different lines, one leading up to each of these triple switches. Well, what I did to get ready, because I'm going to be doing some work here, I'm going to be replacing a bunch of track in here. What I did was I moved the turnout. Well, I removed the turnout that was over here to this line, and I put it all on this turnout. So now there's just this one turnout that then branches off into these 2 triples. So that is the new job. So instead of having, there was another turnout right here. There was this one which led here, and then there was one here that led up to this one. Well, now I've streamlined it into one. And that's going to open up some area here because I'm going to be putting in more double slips there. So I streamlined over there. And I've just done some streamlining here to make it a little cleaner. So that's what I did today. Hey, Monsville, how are you? Did I see Brad Willow Creek is here? Yes. So I hope you were able to see and hear what I was talking about there. But that's was my job. Let me get off of here so you don't see dead kangaroos and odds scraps there. That's what I did today. Because in that area, I'm going to put another row of double slips that are going to go the opposite direction of the ones I put in up here, which are basically left-hand flowing. I'm going to put in right-hand flowing in that area. So I needed to streamline it again. But I'm also going to have to adjust all that track because it's not spaced properly according to the Merklin algorithm. I'm going to have to move things, about 1 centimeter to 2 centimeters, anywhere from 1/3 of an inch to 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to have to move things, and that's going to create a lot of adjustments in those tracks over there. And hopefully it will not cost me either a parking lane or that track 6 that runs the little circle around the Bremen area. So yeah, that's what I've done. Otherwise, I've been making videos and doing some work. Hello, Todd Arms, welcome in. They're obviously on the North American side of the continent. I talked about it in my live stream yesterday. There was a little bit of controversy with one of the train podcasts. I don't know. There's only one podcast I know, and I don't watch it. I only know it because they come into the 2 Canadian live streams I watch on Thursday and Monday and Thursday. They come into Trackside Mike and Dundas's. That's around the layout. That was not the one that, or are they around the podcast or whatever? See, I can't keep them straight. So I don't want to name a podcast to get the wrong one. But obviously there's a big controversy over that. But I think everybody's had their 2 cents on it. I had mine yesterday. But otherwise, it's just been, for me, a crazy week at the hospital and working on the track. And the video I put up about putting in those slips went nuts. I mean, for me, it went viral. Almost 5,000 views in less than a week, or in a week now. Almost 5,000 views in a week. That's epic for me. That's nothing to a lot of people, but for me, that's huge. I was so impressed with how it did. Well, hello, David Scott Rails. Welcome in. Twiddle the approval special areas. Right, that's not the one. That is not the one. I want to make that clear. The one I mentioned was not the one. It was a different one. The one that comes to Canadian shows is fine. They weren't the issue. But like I said, I don't listen to any podcast. My social media is limited to Facebook, which I don't pay attention to a lot of things on Facebook anymore, and YouTube. I technically have a presence on Instagram, but that's it. Oh, you made Rouladen. Cool. Hey, did I see Attila is here and Jean Ricard is here? You got bogged in. Yeah, that's what they call it now. But I don't even have, well, I have sort of one train on the layout right now. This is the only runner I have, and this is the one that was acting up in my live stream. I just put it back on the track from my programming track here. I had to get all the trains off so I could work on the layout and not worry about messing something up. So I don't even have trains to run. So what I'm going to do is I will just post the thing here, and people can come up and chat for a bit, and we'll see what topics come up. I do have a couple of things I could talk about. I'm kind of excited about. We've had a couple of things. So we're going to have a new parody song coming out sometime in the next few days. Wow, Greg is already there and waiting. Okay, Greg, let's bring you all up. You are off a little. You're off a lot.
I'm off a lot, yes.
Well, hello, Greg. Are you there? And can we hear you?
I am. Hi, Anthony, and hi, everybody in the chat. Much easier for me to do this than type in the chat.
Yeah, that's great. So what have you been doing? Have you been able to work on your layout since your last video?
No, I haven't. I'm actually putting together a video. I actually had to pull everything apart.
Oh, that's right. You mentioned that.
We had 2 trees removed out of the backyard, and what a week. And the hot water service went, and we lost power. And yeah, interesting week. We've got a new hot water service now, and we've also got the trees out. So I'm just slowly putting back together. And then yesterday, my grandsons, both of them came. So I was able to get one track working, but not very well. But yeah, anyway, That's my week.
Well, that's a tough week on top of everything else. I think anybody that's owned a home and so forth can relate that, oh, great, this happened, this all went out, the microwave died, the washers died, and yeah, not to belittle it, but we can empathize, and that's the key. We can empathize, not just sympathize, but empathize.
Yeah.
But I just, my big thing is I just finished my taxes a few minutes ago and sent them out online.
Oh, wow. Well, I did have some good news this week. So, like you, although it was a couple of weeks ago, I had a colonoscopy. And just before Christmas, I had a CT scan. So, I'm totally cancer-free.
Oh, wow.
No, there is no cancer. Yeah, thank you. I've still got my bone marrow issue, which is where I take this nasty chemo drug, but I am totally cancer-free.
That's great news. That's great news.
It is fabulous news.
I might get a little emotional about that because I know what you've been fighting, but obviously the bone marrow issue, and until that can get rectified,
Well, I doubt that it will.
You've scored a touchdown, but the game's not over yet.
Yeah, well, I doubt that it will because of the operation. I lost 8. During the 16 hours, I lost 8 liters of blood. I also lost my spleen and bits of my colon and all sorts of other stuff. And from that, it's mutated my bone marrow. And so while my bone marrow is okay, I just have a very high platelet count. And that can cause strokes and heart attacks and things like that.
Yep.
And at this stage, it looks like I'm on this nasty chemo drug for a long time. But there is another alternative. However, because I'm 1 in a million, I say that, the other alternative is an injection. And I always seem to get all the nasty side effects. Well, the injection, which is only once a week instead of every day taking this nasty drug, the side effect is death. It causes suicide.
Right.
So
great.
I'm not prepared to take it.
No, that was always one of the odd things we have in America, because America is a drug society. We have a drug for everything, and they advertise them freely on TV. It's like they had this one antidepressant drug. Side effects are thoughts of suicide. So how do you know if your thoughts of suicide are from your main depression or from the medicine you're taking to fight your depression?
I know, precisely. Yeah. Hey, I know. And the drug I'm on, and this is the bizarre thing, it's a 1980s drug. There is nothing else that is around to do the same job.
Oh,
how bizarre is that?
Okay, hang on a second. My son-in-law is here. And hi, Kyan! Opa loves you. Hey, Kyan.
Hey, Kyan.
Hey, Kyan. All right, we've got Mark in the basement. So I'm going to pop Mark up here and say hello to Mark. Mark, you are now live on the air. Welcome in.
Hello, Andy. Anthony, how are you doing? Good. Congratulations, Greg, on your progress.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody.
You might have seen... Yeah, go on, Greg.
No, I was just going to say a lot of people have been, saying nice, kind things, and I just really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's always nice when you get a good prognosis off the doctors. It's always good when that happens.
Well, anybody that knows Greg, since he started coming online, and especially back in the day when he was really posting videos and the height of COVID and afterwards, we know each other. All these guys, we went to all the live streams together. We got to know each other. And Greg is one of the nicest people. And I know I say that a lot about a lot of people, but we should say that about a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
We focus on negative personalities. Greg is just one of the cleverest and nicest people. And Joyce and I did have the honor of being in Australia, and there was just no way we weren't going to come down and say hello as long as he was up to us coming down. And it was beautiful to meet you in person and to meet Heather.
Thanks. You're almost making me cry right now, but thanks.
I'm sorry. It was emotional to us too, because
I appreciate
you know what you've been through, but we only have an idea of what you've been through, but we've known about it through the whole battle.
Yes, I know, and I appreciate that, Anthony. That's look, when you've been through what I've been through, and you tend to get very emotional. So yeah, Thank you. I appreciate it. They're very kind words.
That's a lot of drugs, plenty of them. All right, so Mark, you got something you want to show us right away, or?
Yeah.
And by the way, to anybody who doesn't know, just let me introduce you to anybody who's new. Yeah, hang on just a second, Mark.
What I've done.
Hang on just a second, Mark. I want to introduce you. This is Mark Zantek. He's a truck driver, and he does N-Scale. And you have many nations represented N-Scale, Japanese, UK, and more.
Oh, yeah.
And he's got a great little layout here. So he's from the UK. Greg is from Southern Australia. I'm in Toledo, Ohio. And Randall, I see you in the basement. I'll bring you up once we let Mark finally just point out a couple of things.
Yeah,
You're on now, Mark.
Yeah, what I was doing earlier is all this green, which I think you saw on last week's show. Well, I've now added the caravan park.
Nice.
Here with four little holiday homes. And obviously the hedging.
Very nice.
In fact, these wagons may actually be, if they were HO scale, they'd be all right for you actually see the German outline.
Mm-hmm.
So I added this up, the other the green. I put the what's it on, and I thought, yeah, need a fence, so that's what the hedging's for. Also, I've divided it up into a couple of fields on the top.
Very
so we'll
nice.
be getting some sheep and some trees and stuff to put there.
Yeah, that's a great shot right there, Mark. That is a fantastic shot.
It'll look even better when the road's down.
Indeed, but you know, when you got something done and it looks good, yes, it's not completely done, but it's better to have people telling you it looks great already than for people to say that work and go, nah.
If I'll put the camera here.
Well, as long as there's
these
nobody
are these porta cabins are going to be the shower blocks for the campers.
Gotcha. Definitely don't want to be looking through the windows with the camera that way. I think there's laws against that.
Yeah, they're going to get whited, painted out. There's no, because these are just industrial porta cabins at the moment.
But yeah, that's a great angle, and it shows off the views you're going to have. So once you add even more detail, because like from here, you don't even see the unfinished road. It just flows right up, and it really is a nice slope because it does feel like it ties into the hill that's on your back scene.
And moving around, we've got the factory complex.
All right, I've added Randall, but I'm still
Randall.
Hey, Randall.
Hey, Midsummer.
So I've got another. There's a piece going to go there with a tower, sort of about there. Then the wall to be finished off to fill in this gap here.
Gotcha.
There'll be another building going here, just up in this little square here, and then that will be swapped out and be another building similar to this going there. So that'll then kind of, apart from the lights, finish off this scene.
Okay. Well, it's very nice.
Which then I can move. Yeah. Bit different having the castle wall for a factory, but you know.
Yeah, but it looks like a nice factory entrance. It does look like a nice factory entrance. And again, you've got a nice shot there with the train, the scenics and the hills going up. Hello, John Benicki. And let me see. I got to pull up this comment from Hot Dog Pilot. Yes, Andy, I saw that, and I am heartily jealous, but it is what it is.
Why is Greg's image flickering with Randall?
But Andy, I noticed you don't mention that your son was part of the pleasure. Were you annoyed with your son? Because your son was there too, and you don't mention him. I had the pleasure of Colin Dino, Pete, and Sue's company today, and my son was there too. But that wasn't a pleasure. Randall, how you doing, my friend?
Well, doing pretty good.
Pretty good. You have been also fighting a little bit of health issues here. Are they getting better? Are things stabilizing, my friend?
Well, so far things are pretty good right now.
Okay.
Not great, but they're pretty good. But, certainly a lot better than it was last Tuesday when I went to the emergency room. But
right.
But,
yeah, I just like to make this personal announcement. all my YouTube friends here, get healthy. I'm tired of watching you getting sick.
Well, I don't plan, Anthony. It's just something.
I know
that happens every
nobody
once in a
plans
while,
it.
so-
Nobody plans. You can't control it. But Joyce and I have been saying, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that so much anymore. I think we should just put it on a tape recorder." But so many friends. I mean, this has just been a rough year. But there's sick, and then there's sick.
Yeah.
And some of you have been sick.
Yeah, day before yesterday, I went and they did the stress test on me, put me on the treadmill, did the whole works. So,
And let's see. Chris says, just got a Stobart Atkinson borderer flatbed from Oxford Diecast for $5.
Oh, that's nice, Valleys.
And I have Stobart is a trucking company, isn't it? A shipping company.
Yes. Now
And then the
part
rest
of
of that-
the Colina group.
Means
Yeah,
nothing.
they're not part of Colina's. And they've got a reputation of bashing bridges.
So an Atkinson borderer flatbed.
That's an old truck.
I have no idea what any of that means, but what can I say? It's a truck or it's a train. That's all I can guess. It's a truck or a train.
Yeah, it's a truck. It's an old truck, Andy. Quite an old one.
And welcome in Chase's Railway Lines Railroad. Welcome in. Join the crowd here. So yeah. So Randall, have they given you any word how long you're stuck in Kansas?
as of right now, it's going to be March 7th.
Holy crap.
Yeah. I can stay longer, but I'm going to have to probably go back home and take care of some personal stuff.
Yeah. You're everything's at home.
Yeah.
Like my taxes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Little important things like your life.
Yeah.
I don't want to get you in trouble. I don't want to get you in trouble, but dear corporation, when you send somebody hundreds of miles away from home, drop them off in a hotel and say, yeah, we'll let you know someday. A little
That's
consideration
basically how
for
it
you.
works, Anthony. You're not getting me in trouble. The manager here the lead driver here told me that they don't know anything until they get an email from the company.
Right. Yeah. And you're getting your room for free. So what are you complaining about? Because I'm not home and I don't even have access to my basic creature comforts,
If I was probably smarter, which I never claim myself very smart, I would have brought a train set with me. I just didn't want to.
Again, when they sent you there, they didn't.
Knowing.
They weren't telling you it was going to be 2 months or 3 months or 4 months. I don't even know how long you've been there now. It's at least a month, if not longer.
Since mid-December.
Mid-December, so 6 weeks at least.
Wow.
Yeah.
And stand to have me.
If anybody
stand to have me stay longer past March.
If anybody is from Kansas, hang on. If anybody's from Kansas, close your ears for a couple of minutes. If you are from Kansas, close your ears. They stuck them in freaking Nowheresville, Kansas, the middle of freaking nowhere. Enjoy.
There's two things about Kansas. One, there's a lot of prairie land. Number two, it's windy as all get out all the time.
This is the opposite of Wizard of Oz. This is the inverse of Wizard of Oz. This is Dorothy and Toto, and she's going, Toto, I think we're still in Kansas. We've been walking for 10 weeks, and it's still Kansas. And it's still Kansas. And it's still Kansas.
I'll tell you what, those Dalhart, Texas trips are really long.
Toto, I don't think we're ever getting out of Kansas. And Toto runs off and
Yeah,
runs in front of the first truck it sees just to end the misery.
It's one of those. It's one of those states where, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but it's one of those states where you're riding in a car and you're going, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet?"
Admire the scenery. What scenery?
Well, look, there's a
Now, I will tell you,
there. There's a
I drove
there.
from the northwest corner of Nebraska in the Panhandle all the way across Nebraska with Joyce and the kids. And the only thing that marked the territory was the Platte River basically crossed the highway at almost exactly every 100-mile marker. So you'd hit mile marker 100, North Platte River. And then we hit the 200-mile marker, North Platte River, and you'd go over a little bridge again. And somewhere around the 300-mile marker, North Platte. That's like, how many times are we crossing that? Is the road going like this? Or is the river going like that? Or are they both going like that, making some sort of DNA double helix? It was, but other than that, it was just like, oh, look, flat. And more flat.
Central Australia. Sounds like most of Australia, where you just drive and there are places where the road is so straight that you can actually see the curvature of the earth. Gibber Plains. And
yeah, our friend Arty, of course, was a truck driver for many years doing the cross-country travel, so I'm sure he's got all kinds of stories that he shared with Attila Varga.
I understand what Randall's doing because I used to fly all around the countryside and working, and there was one stage that I didn't even know where I actually was. I said, I'm going home tonight, and I was actually in Sydney. And I went, oh, yeah, I'm not home. And I was asked if I was going to the Sydney show. Why haven't I been to the Sydney Easter show? And I went, I don't know. And then I thought about it, and I went, because I don't live here. You just end up really bizarre. And then you go across the Western Australia where there was, during daylight savings, there's 3 hours difference, and your head gets really screwy. You just go, where the heck am I? So I understand, Randall. It can be really tough living in a hotel for a long time.
Well, the thing is, like places like this, I hope nobody that lives in Kansas or anything like that takes offense to it. I kind of hate to say it this way, but it's one of those places where you get bored very easy.
Well, I'm sure if you're more in a town where there are things to do, but you're just kind of out there in the middle. So of course, you don't want to blast the whole state, but
no, the state's fine. I mean, it's really nice country, but if you want to be.
A desert's beautiful too, but I don't want to live in one. Sorry, my Australian friends and all my friends in New Mexico and Wyoming and everybody else. I'm quite happy living in it.
Sorry, I spent 3 months up and down the west coast, so Perth, up to Kununurra, which is not far from the top of Australia, right down to Esperance. And I was at Esperance, and it was Christmas time. It's summer here, right? It's really hot. And I was working there, and it was about 5 o'clock, and I thought I'd finished work. I'll go to get a Coke and then go back to the hotel. Went down the main street. There was not one shop open, not one person in the street. You could shoot a machine gun, you wouldn't have hit anybody. And this is a tourist beach resort. And you go, really? Yeah. Western Australia is another place compared to the rest of Australia.
Indeed.
It's quite different.
There's advantages and disadvantages. Well, I was just going to say there's advantages and disadvantages no matter where you go.
Yeah.
Like I said, here in Kansas, I mean, the scenery is great when you're working and driving. If you like seeing big farms, big grain silos, ethanol plants, and all that. But if you're not really into that stuff, and if you're if you're kind of just cooped up in a hotel room, you get bored very easy because there's really not that much out there
Right.
to go explore.
Hi,
Other than
hi
that.
Jackie, and thank you for your kind words.
When Joyce and I go to Niagara Falls, which is about a 6-hour drive from us, 6.5-hour drive, depending on how easy we get over the bridge, we take this highway called the 401 from Windsor to outside of Hamilton, and then we veer off and take a different highway down to Niagara Falls. Joyce hates the 401 because it is straight and there's nothing there. It is just a straight highway with an occasional rise and an occasional drop, but she hates it because there's nothing to look at. And until you get into the hills around Hamilton and then veer right, it's I like it because I can drive straight and maybe get away with a little speeding if nobody's watching. But Joyce hates it for that reason. I like it when the road's nice and straight. You can see for a while. Hey, hello, Andy Puff Candy. What's up? Let's see. What is Attila saying? Attila says Western Australia is huge. Well, yeah, it's a freaking continent, okay?
Yeah, but it is. You don't comprehend how big it is and how the distances are so far apart. Like for us to go to Perth, it's about 4-hour plane flight, but coming back at 6 or 7 because it depends on the time frame. And it's a long flight. It is seriously long. And even just to travel. So I went to Kununurra. Now, Kununurra, as I said, is almost at the top of Australia, about 50 k's from the coast. I could have flown to LA and to almost to Anthony for the time it took me to get to there.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, serious, because you fly to Perth, right? And you have to be on the very early flight. And then you fly from Perth up to Broome. And then from Broome, you go across to Kununurra. And so by the time you go through all the customs and checks and everything else, it is more than 15-hour flight.
Jeez.
And that's just inside Australia.
Yeah.
And that shows you what the size of Australia really is. Now, when I go to England, we fly from Melbourne across, and it's 6 hours across Australia before we reach the sea. And then from there, it's 2 hours to Singapore. But we've spent 6 hours in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, it's a very desolate place.
When Joyce and I were planning our trip to Australia, and one of our original goals was she wanted to go up to the Barrier Reef, the northeast coast, north of Brisbane. Yep. And but when we realized that there was it was either fly, because driving's out of the question, and even like in Germany, we hop on a train and we're anywhere we want to be in Germany. It was like a 16, 18-hour train ride to get up to that area. And it's like, no, I don't think we want to do that. So we put that off. So next time we go, which will be probably right after Joyce retires, Joyce has already got, she's not planning this trip, but she's planning this trip. Normally I do the trip planning, but she's like, we're going to spend a week in Hawaii or maybe Fiji. Thanks, Arty. If you're in the background listening, you had to plant that bug in her ear. And then we'll go over to, we're going to go over, and if Arty's still in Wollongong, we'll go down there, or we'll go, and then we're going to go up to Brisbane. We're going to have to fly. So we can fly. Okay, then. And we're going to go to Brisbane and look for Bluey for my grandson.
Oh, yes. Bluey's real. Yep.
Bluey.
Bluey is the greatest children's show ever invented, bar none. It is so brilliantly made, and kids all around the world love it, and even Americans love it, but the corporate America doesn't get it because they're like, we can't, like, 3 different Bluey cartoons were banned in America because it was dealing with topics that corporate America's like, we can't put that in a kid show. One of them is about the dad farting.
Yep.
There's an episode where the dad farting. Yeah, and it's absolutely funny, normal, natural episode. It's very cool, well done, and it's such a brilliant show. And Americans can never come up with it because Americans are too busy being schmaltzy and overly filled with sentimentality, and instead of just letting things go. And this Aussie cartoon, which they live in basically, I believe it's Brisbane. Is it Adelaide or Brisbane?
No, it's Brisbane. It's done in Brisbane, yeah.
Yeah. So it's an epic cartoon show. It's dogs. Humans are replaced with dogs. What happened to humans, I don't know. It's some sort of of the dogs.
I'm reading the chat and love the 747s. Yeah, the 747s were good, but I've got to say, honestly, I love the A380. What a stunning machine. And being tall, it seems to be a lot more room in an A380 than the 747s. So, because I've flown to England about 4 times on an A380.
I think I've been on an A380. I think one time we flew on an A380. Otherwise, the vast majority of times we fly, it's been a A330.
Yeah, no, it's the double decker plane. It's really a really stunning. I flew to England on one trip. Now remember that an A380 holds about 400 to 500 people. There was 100 people on there, and the plane was empty. And the service was magic. We got so much service. It was really good.
All right, we have one more basement dweller, so we're going to bring them up on stage. It is Lee from Liverpool.
Hey, Lee.
Hey, Lee.
Hello, Greg.
Oh, buddy. How are you doing, buddy?
Except I've got something on Lee that Lee is from Liverpool, but he is not a Scouser.
No, I'm not. I am actually.
He's not a Scouser, and I am a knighted Scouser. So I am more Liverpudlian than he is now, because I have been knighted a Scouser by official Scousers in Liverpool.
Yeah.
So where are you from originally then?
I was born. I'm actually not on the Liverpool side. I'm on the Wirral side.
Ah, right. Yep.
I was up your end of the woods as well last night, Anfield.
Oh, were you? Yeah. Well, you.
Yeah, I was at the Merseyside Model Railway Society.
Oh yeah, they used to go
in Birkenhead.
It's very clicky.
They can be. Like the one model train club I belonged to for about 9 months, it's hard to say it was cliquey. They really, for the most part, all got along, but there were like 3 or 4 guys that the rest of the group privately and not so privately kind of were always expressed their frustration with. But they all worked together whenever they had to do so. But there was a little bit of a main clique and then some outsiders in the group. And they were trying to work me to the insiders group. But once they tried to work me to the insiders group as I joined, I realized I didn't like the insiders group. Once you've come to a few meetings once a month, they start to show you who they are. Who they really are. They let their guard down. And then you go, oh, so this side of them that we were seeing and thinking was okay was just a mask. And now they're letting the real them show. And it was not pretty under those masks.
Yeah.
We could do a whole show talking about the pros and cons of model railway clubs, but I think
I've got a mate, Dave. He's appeared a couple of times on my videos. He went to a country model train group, and he went once, and that was enough. They were so cliquey, and they were so almost anal retentive about. Now you can only have the station this high, and you can only have this, and if it's 1
I'm
millimeter out,
not even going to answer that, Jackie.
so he hasn't been since. But yeah, I understand that. What did Jackie say? Oh yeah, well,
Lee says Attila. Attila says Lee, get a shave. Attila's one to talk. You're one to talk, Attila. You're a member of me with the Triple B Club.
Greg,
Bearded,
if someone sees my way
bearded, and
out,
a bastard. Beard, bald, bearded, and a bastard. That's the Triple B Club. You're a member of it too. And to be honest, I had this beard. I grew this beard about 2 weeks before I went to Getz, and normally I keep a beard just for a few weeks, and I decided to get rid of it. This is the longest I've ever had a beard. I have had this since September of last year. Normally I have just the goatee, but I grew a beard, and normally by now it'd be bothering me. I finally say it's coming off, but I've kept it all through the winter so far. It's weird.
well, my beard hasn't been off since I was 17.
Oh God, I thought you almost said 7.
No, 17.
I didn't grow a beard at 17. The beard came in at 18.
Yep.
I could
razor
never keep a
blades are
beard.
too expensive.
But I had
and
a
blah.
father. If I had oh crap, the brain's not working. I'm still coming out of the anesthesia. If I had 5 o'clock shadow, if I had peach fuzz, my dad was, get in that bathroom and shave. My dad was very anti-facial hair. And then when I was 18 and paying my own way in life, I grew a beard and a mustache. And then I went to West Point, so I had to shave off the beard. And then when I left West Point very soon thereafter, I grew my hair really long and grew this big hippie beard, which I trimmed way down the night I met Joyce. I literally got into my house at 6 p.m. Joyce's. I didn't know it was going to be Joyce at the time, but the people who were picking me up to go to this bit which led to me meeting Joyce, they were going to pick me up at 7. And I'm in there trying to find clothes, and Mom, I need you to cut my hair. And I'm cutting the beard and trimming the beard down because I didn't want to look like something of a disaster. And of course, what does Joyce write in her diary upon meeting me? He looks like an axe murderer.
Well, one of the people I worked with when I was an apprentice said how I looked like my mum, and that's when I kept the beard on. Now, don't get me wrong, I love my mum, but at a teenage years, the last thing you want to be told is you look like your mum. So it's been on since.
A very ropey Gandalf. You could be a Father Christmas, Chris.
I've
got a brother-in-law that retired as a teacher a couple of years ago, and he's got a big white beard out the ear. He should be every wintertime volunteering as Santa Claus because he can pull it off.
I played Santa Claus last year for my wife's work. She works with kids, foster care.
Right.
And I went and played Santa because that last minute the Santa couldn't do it, so I ended up doing it.
Your dad did Father Christmas because he went white in his 50s. Well, I went white in my 50s myself. I just went through a rainbow of colors through my life before my hair fell out. I started as a very white-haired blonde kid, very white hair, and then it went yellowish blonde, and then darker blonde, dirty dishwater blonde, then it went brown, and then it went dark brown, and then it started going black, and then when it hit black, it fell out. Started falling out in my mid-30s, and then what was left started to go white, gray in my 40s, mid-late 40s, and then slowly faded to kind of a white.
I think I shaved mine off. My daughter was about 3 months, and we had a bit of a party. And I looked in the video and I realized that I had almost a comb over and went, no comb overs. And that's when I shaved mine off. So I've had no real hair for, how old is she? She's 28. So I've had no hair for 28. Mind you, I don't miss combing my hair.
Yeah, I had a ponytail for a little while, and then I was coaching basketball for one of the schools I taught at. I had a ponytail, and then my daughter was filming in the stands because she was like 8 years old, but she would film my games for me. And she did a pan over where I had the big bald spot and then the ponytail, and I said, nope, that's it. Cut off the ponytail, shaved the hair down, and just said, that's it.
Yep, I get that. Yeah.
So there, we're in a wacky weekend where we've talked a little trains, we've talked a little hair, we've talked a little illness. What else should we talk about? I've even shown a little bit of my track work and what I've done there.
I'm working on a project on mine. I could show it if you want me to, Anthony.
Go ahead and show it, Lee.
Let me just move the camera.
Randall, were you about to say something?
No, I was just going to say there ain't much for me to talk about here. So
I understand.
I will say this though, there are some real hidden gems train-wise out here in Kansas. That's really neat. So
if you get the opportunity and explore, you can find all sorts of cool things in a lot of places. I really don't want to be too mean to Kansas. It just lends itself to the joke. But I live in Toledo, Ohio, which lends itself to jokes.
If you're looking for a lot of stuff to do out here, it's just besides some of the big cities like Wichita and Topeka and places like that, there's really not much.
Hey, I'm from Kansas. Really? You're from Kansas? What do you like to do? Well, we like to sit on the side of the highway and watch cities get blown up by the tornadoes coming in. We even have a contest to see whose cattle flew the furthest.
Oh, my.
That looks like one of Farmer Ed's going. Holy crap, I think he's going to hit Topeka. And sadly, I'm sure there's some guy walking down the street in Topeka going, I could really go for a steak, and then splat, the cow lands. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
Monsville says, got to head down to work on the layouts. All right. Well, you have a good time working on that. Are you still working on the shelf, or is it a different one you're working on? Because you said layouts plural. So that's the funny thing. When you've got, 6 layouts now, Monsville, you could be one hand working on this layout and the other hand's doing this one. And I can see Monsville doing that too. So like Rick Wakeman on keyboards at a concert, all 2 different banks playing all this stuff up here and down here at the same time. That's Monsville. We're shelf layout. Okay. Putting in the static grass, and down here, I'm working on this little terrier tanker I picked up and going to fix that all up and change its motor out. Very talented person. You need to check their channel out. Monsville is very good at repairing old stock and getting it going.
He puts some awesome stuff out.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Brilliance needs more subscribers and views. Speaking of more subscribers and views, Lee, you broke 1,000 here last week.
I know, I'm at 1,008.
Wow.
I don't know how I've done it.
Drugs.
Oh, I'm on the drugs, but I don't have it.
Well, you got to start sharing them. Oh, my 1,000 subscriber giveaway. I've got some pure Colombian gold here. I think YouTube might have a problem with that one.
Yeah, that might
Yeah,
be an
thank
issue.
you. Yeah, I have me cannabis every day.
There you go. Yeah.
I do,
Yeah, I know.
and it's brilliant. I would be a mess if I didn't have it. Mind you, it doesn't have the psychedelic bit in it, though.
Right. It doesn't quite have that effect to it.
No, but it takes away the pain and a lot of the nausea.
Yeah.
The signal,
My sister-in-law through Joyce's brother, she's got medical issues, so she takes medicinal marijuana.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's brilliant. It does so much for me.
Yep. Well, we went from 20 to 13 real fast here, so apparently that little bit of humor, the uptights were like, that's it, I'm out.
Yeah, that'd be wow. Yeah.
But no, because I do have all kinds of little projects I'm working on, but a big project's going to be coming up, I think, in spring, where the last piece of this house I have not touched is finally going to get touched. I'm rebuilding the bathroom in our ensuite, in our bedroom.
Oh, nice.
It'll be the last one. You know, the nice thing is I remodeled this one just before I start this basement. I remodeled this, took out the walls and put in a new ceiling, new lighting. I left the electrical alone as needed, but I did adjust some of the electrical. But I did all this because I could have never live streamed from the basement originally, even though it was a finished basement then. It had these fluorescent lights that just never lit it up. It was just a very, very dark room. And now my daughter complains it's too bright down here.
Yeah, cannabis oil, Attila, is not cheap in this country. It's about 110 Australian dollars for, no, sorry, it's 130 Australian dollars for 30 mil. So yes, it's not cheap, and it's no wonder if your boss's brothers making or producing cannabis oil that he's raking it in. So yeah, I haven't got any of my cameras. I've only got the 2 cameras today, but I'm in the process of putting a 3rd rail in. So they'll take a bit of time, but yeah, you're right. It's kind of I fortunately get cannabis oil a bit cheaper because I qualify it, but even mine, which is 30 mils, mine costs 60 Australian dollars for 30 mil, and that lasts about 6 weeks.
Okay.
But without it, I wouldn't be talking to you guys. And yes, it does help MS and all sorts of things. It's quite good. Yeah, you can't praise it enough. If you've had it and then you stop it, boy oh boy, you just one of my hematologists saw me when there was a shortage at one stage of it. She saw me and she was absolutely shocked at the difference. So yeah, it's well worth it. Well, we're all quiet, guys.
Yeah. Arty, no, that was nothing. That was nothing. I'd have to redo that basement. The biggest thing is that's basically my daughter's personal bathroom now because Joyce and I rarely use it. She needs to clean it more. I redid that bathroom in 2014, and I did a damn good job. That was my first full bathroom remodel. Gutted it all the way down to the everything. Took everything out. we did everything. The only thing I had a pro do is I always hire a plumber if I have major plumbing work to do, and had them come in and replace piping and some things, because that's something I don't want to mess with. I'll mess with electrical, but I won't mess with plumbing, or at least if it's involved. But
The house is awful fun of doing plumbing work.
Yeah, I think most people, to be honest, I don't trust anybody that says they can do it all. The jack of all trades sort of things. I can do almost anything in the construction world to an adequate degree, but I don't work in it. And I trust myself. My strengths are drywalling, and because my dad was an electrician, I trust myself as an electrician, and painting. Those are my strengths. But plumbing, I will do basic plumbing, but I will not touch, go into the water source and having to take it all out, doing the copper lines or now the Tubex and that stuff. I could do it, but if something goes wrong, flooding and gas are the two biggest disasters that can go wrong. Obviously electrical work too, but more things go wrong because of there are more home accidents based on bad plumbing and bad gas line work than electrical fires.
Yeah, John Benicki says about people using THC. Yes, I don't use THC. I use CBD. So if I was taking THC, you can't drive here. On CBD, you can, because it's the CBD is. Well, there's three types of cannabis. There's THC, which is the full-blown psychedelic cannabis. There's a mixture of that and the CBD oil. And the CBD oil, which is what I take, has the psychedelic part of the drug taken away. And it's a bit of a long process, I'm told. But so it means you can function without being away with the pixies. And it does still work for pain and other things. That's the main difference.
And my body just has a natural resistance to any of that stuff anyhow. It's not worth it. The only drugs I've done are the things a doctor prescribes to me.
It's all I've done too.
I've never smoked a regular cigarette, much less an herbal jazz cigarette. Certainly never took uppers or downers or cocaine or heroin or any of that stuff. Grew up where a lot of people did, but that to me, that was the great lesson. Yeah, that dude does heroin. Okay, I'm not going to do heroin then. These people are doing cocaine. Okay, then I don't need to do cocaine. My sisters all smoked weed, and it was like, okay, I don't need to smoke that crap either.
It used to be
when I fell off my truck and broke my hip, they gave me morphine and the gas and air was in the ambulance. That was interesting.
Morphine is interesting. I'll tell you the other one that's really interesting is now I've lost it. The one horses use.
Ketamine.
Ketamine. Yeah, I've had ketamine. I was in back of an ambulance and they'd given me ketamine and they went round the corner and one of the ambulance officers looked at me and said, "Are you all right?" And I went, "Yeah, I'm fine. Just tell the driver to stop doing donuts," because I just kept going round and round. That is nasty stuff, ketamine. Morphine's okay. I've had morphine too. When I was after I had my operation, I was on morphine drip, not drip, but I had a little button where I could just give myself a bit of a zap. But I had to go and have a CT scan, and I was in so much pain that they changed it from there's a certain requirement for the time you push the button till the next time you get a dose. I think it's about 2 to 5 minutes. But I had to have a CT scan, and I was in so much pain. They changed it to instant, so I just given myself a zap, and that worked. It was nice. It took away the pain. Took away the pain. Yep.
Yeah, it was the worst prescription drug I was ever given was a drug called tramadol, and this was after I had.
Tramadol.
Yeah, I had I say worse in the sense because it's a morphine derivative.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
And that was the worst side effects I ever had. I mean, I've been given Darvocet and Percocet, but I will take one or two like immediately after surgery, and then I just, that's it. I'm not going to take any more. I'll deal with the pain because I don't want to take that stuff. But yeah, they put me on tramadol after one of my surgeries, and I felt like, I don't know what's the best way to describe it, whether it's a zombie or whatever. I just felt like I was not present. I was sitting here and I knew what was going around me, but it was just sort of like either everything else was ghost or I was a ghost. Nothing was there. And I hated that feeling. I wasn't sleeping. And I would call the doctor and says, no, that's fine. And one night I couldn't sleep. I got out of bed, came downstairs, got on my laptop computer, and I started typing up. And I literally went through 30 Google pages of ads for tramadol.
Yep.
And it was 31 or 32 Google pages before I finally came up with side effects of tramadol. Now, if I had typed in side effects of tramadol first, but you get the Wikipedia thing, and okay, whatever. And I just went through the checklist and this, yep, this, yep, this, yep, this, yep. And I was like, that's it. I'm done. Nope. I'd rather go through the pain than go through those feelings.
Night, Andy. Hot dog. No, I've never had that, but I had the same issue with prednisolone. Prednisolone did that to me. I went psychotic on prednisolone.
Oh.
Ketamine does it too, but you're still sort of a bit aware, but you sort of trip out a little bit. But morphine, no, I didn't have any issues with morph. But prednisolone, I was given a full dose once and never ever again. I just went psychotic on that stuff.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just it's one of those things when we all have had our different health issues. Yeah. Unfortunately, the one thing we can sit and talk about are the various drugs and the effects we have. And again, depending on what you're fighting and the severity of it, the drugs become harder. The scale of your illness increases the scale of the power of the drugs they give you.
And funny story, whilst I was actually in the hospital, I'm on the bed, waiting to be pushed into the ward, the anaesthetist comes down to me. He goes, right, we're going to give you an epidural, he says. I'm like, okay, explain. So he did. He goes, it's what we give for women with childbirth, but we're putting it for you directly in your leg. Do you have any questions, he says. I goes, yeah. Have you got a camera and monitor in the theatre so I can watch you do the operation? He went from my African black skin to embarrassed red. No, he said.
I woke up in the middle of a shoulder surgery. And the doctor was not happy with me waking up. Lee,
when I had my heart attack, and which was only mild, I had three stents put in, and you're awake the whole time, and you're lying there. I was normally it goes up your groin or up your arm. For me, it went up my arm, and I was lying on my side. But they had two 70-inch monitors right behind, so I'm lying there. And right there are two 70-inch monitors that you can see that they do the operation. They then bring over a laser to do stuff with, and it sounds like an arc welder. and they actually it goes off and it goes like just sounds like an earthworm, and that is quite bizarre because you can feel a camera and everything going up your arm and around. That is very bizarre operation.
Yeah, I woke up and I'm looking and what are you doing? He's going, what are you doing awake? I don't know. You tell me. Oh, what's going on here? Because all I'm hearing is like I'm at the dentist from hell, and he says, well, if you look at the monitor over here, yeah. I am grinding your bones with a rotary. Oh. We're taking all the bone spurs off. And the other sound you can't hear because of the buzzing of the rotary is the vacuum cleaner that we're sucking all the bone dust off with. Oh, okay. Cool.
Oh, look, the worst one I had, and I've got to be honest, through the whole trauma, well, I won't say, well, I suppose it is trauma, but from the time I was diagnosed with something that nobody knew for 6 months till I had the operation, didn't scare me. When I had the operation, which was, as I said, 16 hours, I woke up 3 times during the operation. And I have never been so scared in my life. And what I could see, the only thing I could see was a piece of polypipe down my throat.
Oh,
right?
wow.
So I was being incubated.
Intubated.
Sorry, that one. I say incubated. That's me chronic fatigue. And my breathing was, it was very shallow and it was really scary. But other than that, everything else I've been through didn't, hasn't really mattered, colonoscopies and all that sort of stuff. But that being, having that was really scary.
Because that's one thing. And only this week did the anesthesiologist I had for Thursday finally admit that what I've been telling some people, and people look at me skeptically, like I seem to have a natural resistance to most medicines. My body just, and the anesthesiologist says, well, we're looking at this report that you have woken up in surgeries and that you have, like I've had 2 surgeries delayed because I was supposed to be not intubated, but I was supposed to be completely asleep. And they gave me the stuff. Okay, you should be out in 15 minutes. And an hour and 15 minutes later, I'm still awake. And the doctor's like, he's delayed me. Take him in anyhow. I'll probably fall asleep and not remember anything. And I was awake through the whole surgery. So they had a little note like, somebody needs to find what will knock him out. And so now, the last couple of times I've had surgery, apparently somebody figured it out because I've been out before the surgery began. But I have delayed surgeries. But this anesthesiologist came in and he was talking about this, and he wants to go through my whole history and anesthesia and why they've got it marked that they have to do extra to get, ahead of time to get me knocked out for the surgery. And they says, okay, well, you see, we've changed because were you redheaded? He asked me, were you redheaded when you had hair and before it turned white? And I said, no, but my mom's redhead. He says, aha. He says, it's actually true. People with the redheaded hair gene, redheads actually have a stronger resistance to the vast majority of medicines they use for anesthesia. That this is
always can do it, Ant.
a scientific
we need to put you out.
This is a scientific fact that there is something in redhead DNA that makes them more resistant to the medicines used in anesthesia, because it's a certain block of medicines. Yeah. And so apparently redheads have a heightened tolerance for it, for the medicines they use.
Oh, wow.
So I thought that was crazy, but so he told me about it, Googled, and it was like, apparently it's true.
The last one I had, which was just a week or so, or 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, anyway, I had the surgeon there, the anaesthetist, and nurse, and the nurse I knew from when I first went to Peter Mac. I did this study, but anyway, he goes, "Oh yeah, I've seen your file," and he went, "Yeah, I know, you'll be okay, no problem, and we'll just give you and you'll be right." And I was. I woke up. No, I didn't have any side effects from that. What I did have was from the gas.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I had huge pain in the shoulders and stuff. The anesthetic, I had a little bit, but yeah, no, it was.
No, I wake right up. Joyce, when she comes out of anesthesia, because she has had so many surgeries,
Yep.
abdominal surgeries and so many knee surgeries and that, she wakes up very badly from anesthesia. She's sick. She'll wake up, fall asleep, and not remember waking up, fall asleep, wake up, not remember. I'll have the same conversation with her 7 times.
Oh, right.
You really don't remember just talking to me for 10 minutes, 2 minutes ago, do you? What? No. Okay. And I wake right up.
Yeah, well, so
I'm
do
awake.
I.
I'll tell you one thing, and it took a while for feeling to come back into my legs.
No, I
Because
wake
obviously-
up and I'm ready to sit up and like, okay, let's go. We're done. No.
Yep.
You need to sit. We got to make sure you're okay. Yeah, I
Yep,
feel fine. I'm ready to
was
go.
the same. Yep, I was the
when I
same.
was actually lying, when I was lying in bed, I'm like, I need to do what I need to do. And obviously, my blood was telling my brain it's full, I need to empty. My brain was obviously trying to tell the valve to open, and like, nope.
Because that's the best thing. Like yesterday was Friday, so Thursday. Yeah, I was asleep. The last thing I remember is they just started to move my bed out of the prep room to surgery. And then the next thing I remember is I don't even have dreams, and I love that I just I don't remember when I fell asleep, and then like it's a second later. It really is. It's like you blinked and it's all over.
Yeah, literally. I was the same. I was in the prep room. They rolled me in, and as they rolled me in, I saw the doors shut, and that was it. I was out. And then when I woke up, I was in the room, and that was it. I was fully awake. I was not dopey or anything else, and I was in the recovery for probably 20 minutes, and I went home. But yeah, I don't remember anything. I don't dream, and I had specified that I do have nausea because of my chemo drugs, so they made sure that they made sure that they looked after that as well. So yeah, it was 20 minutes and afterwards, and we were on our way home.
It took a while for feeling to come back in my legs. Like it was like. It's very thing when you wake back and you get the feeling back. You've got like pins and needles all down your legs. Like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I can understand that, but yeah.
Now, Randall, just a question for you. Something I guess I'm curious of now. Now, I know some of your hobbies, but being a guy that's into model trains, do you cross over into like train simulation games, like Train Sim or whatever? Some of those.
Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
Unfortunately, no, I don't, Anthony. I simply don't have I don't have a computer or anything to play that kind of stuff on.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, because I'm not.
No,
I've seen people playing, but I'm not into them. People are like, oh, well, you would love Train Controller or something like that. I'm like, no. I've
got Train Sims, but I'm not. I can't get to grips with it.
I really need to be able to do this. I need to be able to hold it and physically.
Yeah.
I've never been able to get into that. And I've got friends that do train sims and go online and the live stream, and I'll pop in for a bit.
I have.
And I become obnoxious because I start making jokes and making stories about what's going on the train while they're doing all these things.
There is a game called for the Xbox One called Train Sim World. I think they have like 2 or 3 games of that. But I know I don't know if Raider on VR is still in the chat or not. But he actually is doing a fully virtual model railroad. I don't remember what the name of the game is.
Right.
But,
Well, I just wonder.
A couple streams with it.
I just wonder who crosses over into there, because I know many people do. For example, Mark at Zantec here does trucking games.
Yeah,
he does trucking simulation games, and a couple other people I know do those.
I've played trucking simulator games on Steam.
Okay.
I've played Euro Truck.
But because I have the mentality that if I were a trucker, the last thing I'd want to do when I get done driving a truck is turn around and drive a truck in a video game. You know, they're for example, as a teacher, I don't want to turn around and play some video game where I'm a teacher again. It's like, I just left this. I don't need to go through it again.
I wonder if there's actually there seems to be a simulator game for everything. I wonder if there's a teacher simulator.
Oh, they're out there too. But yeah, that was the thing. When the bell rang and the day was over, I was not Mr. Dodge. I was Anthony Dodge. And that's why it's so funny how many people, because they know I'm a teacher and I go into live streams and some people will address me as, hey, Mr. Dodge.
Yeah,
and it actually bothers me a bit. Not that I get upset, but it's like I've stopped doing it. But I used to type, Anthony, don't call me Mr. Dodge. I'm retired from that. I'm not Mr. Dodge anymore. I'm Anthony. Or Opa Dodge. You know, a lot of people will call me Opa Dodge because, you know, that's what Kyan calls me. That's fine. You know, Ray Bobel always refers to me as Opa Dodge. And I like that, you know, or, you know, Rick from Foltz Bailey would always say, Opa Dodge. And I like that. But, and I was in a live stream earlier this week, last weekend sometime, and somebody kept talking to Tony. And I didn't know they were talking to me. Because I'm Anthony, I'm not Tony. My parents called me Tony, and as soon as I could get away from that, when Joyce met me, everybody called me Tony, but I would say, yeah, my family calls me Tony, but I want to be called Anthony. And Joyce called me Tony for a long time, and now she'll refer to me as Anthony because I've said, I'm Anthony, I'm not Tony. But my parents and my siblings would call me Tony, and I hated it. By the time I was 18, I wanted to be Anthony. I didn't want to be Tony. Probably because I was named after a mafia hitman who was Tony LaPaglia or LaPaglia or whatever he was, you know, and serving time for 7 hits that were known. And I was like, I don't want to be a Tony. I'm an Anthony.
Yeah. I get that because all my family, when they were alive, used to call me Gregory. And I hated that too. But I was named after Gregory Peck.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's
my mum loved Gregory Peck, so I was named after him. But that you knew you were in trouble. But yeah, always I hated it. So
worldwide, we all understand the more of your name that gets used, the more in trouble you are. There's not a culture in this country that doesn't understand that.
Yeah.
The more of your name that gets used, the more in trouble you are. Like, my dad, when he would get when they threw in the middle name, right? They threw the middle name because the middle name came last. The middle name came last because, like, I'd be like, if my dad was not upset, he had nicknames for me. Hey, Butch, come here. Sonny, come here. Hey, boy, come here. If he said Tony, it was like I had a chore to do, or Tony, I need you to mow the lawn, or Tony, if he said Anthony, I was in trouble. If he said Anthony Dodge, I was in real trouble. If he said Anthony Scott Dodge, I wasn't coming home again. And I made the mistake one time of looking at my dad, because I was in my teenage years by this time and starting to, test just how far this man would push me before I pushed back. And he went, Anthony Scott Dodge. And I was like, why do you have to say Scott? Like, is there some other Anthony Dodge? He said, there used to be till I got rid of him. That's why he uses the middle name, because there was another Anthony Dodge and I got rid of him. You're the second one we've had. Oh.
I was just going to say,
you always knew if you had the middle name. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. I'll wait.
I always knew when you hear your middle name, you're in deep doo-doos.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
if
yeah.
you use the middle name.
Oh, yeah. That's just what I was getting ready to get at with Midsummer. Most everybody here knows me on YouTube as Randall. But if you ever talk to close friends of mine and my family members, they know me by my middle name, which is D. Only it's spelled D-E-E. And just a slight backstory on that, the reason I got that middle name was actually because when I was born, my brother, when he was going to school, one of his friends was named D. So that's how I ended up with the middle name. It's just, his was the letter D and mine is spelled D-E-E. So that's the difference on there. But,
right. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I can tell you a little funny story. I always knew my dad as Danny. Now, I found out that it was actually a nickname because Danny Kaye was a movie star, right?
Oh, yeah.
But when I was little, I didn't know. And one day a phone rang up and they wanted Harold. And it was my dad's real name. And I go, sorry, no Harold here. And hung up the phone. And Mum goes, you can't do that. That's your father. It's work. And I went, who? Who's Harold? And I never knew that his real name was Harold because everyone I knew called him Danny.
Right. Yeah. See, I had that. My brother and I broke a Dodge family tradition that goes back easily 200 years. Everybody in all the male Dodges in our line of the family, they all went by their middle names. My dad was Howard because his first name was Oliver and he hated it. And I did that one time. And see, I knew my mom called him Howard. My mom called him Howard and relatives called him. Everybody called him Howard. But I had to call him at work one day, but he's at work. So he probably uses his official name. So I said, I'm looking for Oliver Dodge. And they just went to the pager, Oliver Dodge. And it's like, is that somebody you know, Howard? He's like, and he got on the phone and he yelled at me for calling him Oliver because nobody calls him Oliver. And so my brother and I both go by our first names. And so we broke that. But all my cousins, my dad, my grandfather, great-grandfather, great-great-grandfather, they all went by their middle names. And then my son, I was going to stop this trend altogether. My son was supposed to have no names. He was going to be A period, J period, no names. And Joyce's family threw a fit. He has to have a name. They can't bury him properly. I'm like, why are you trying to kill him already? He's got to have a name. Isn't there a law? It's like, no, I could name him the number 7 if I wanted to. And they threw a fit. And so literally right before he was born, Joyce and I are trying to come up with A's and J's because I didn't want him to be Anthony Jr. And so we went through Arthur. Well, we don't, we had close relatives named Arthur and you don't want to go Aloysius and Adam. And we went through this. So we finally went with Anthony James. But he was to be called AJ and everybody knew him as AJ. But there are two sides to that, which is when Joyce would get upset with him, she called him by his name. It was no longer AJ, it was Anthony James. Anthony James, get in here, so that same bit when they throw in your full name, you're in trouble. But he went to kindergarten, his first day of school, and he walked into the teachers, the teachers in kindergarten have all the desks with the names on them. And he walked through one room. He walked through the other room. looked around first day of school, and he was kind of standing in the hallway looking very sad and lost. And the teacher went up to him and said, "Can I help you?" "Well, I'm supposed to be in this room, but my name's not on any of the desks." They said, "Oh, well, let me see. Well, what's your name?" And he said, "AJ." And she goes through the list, goes, "Well, I don't have an AJ. Well, let's go see if do you have an AJ? No. Well, what's your last name, honey?" "Dodge." And they go, "Oh, no, you are supposed to be in my room. You're Anthony." He goes, "No, I'm AJ." And it was like, and then he had a teacher in 8th grade. And the teacher was a substitute and was a really bad substitute, well known as a bad substitute. And, you know, one of these guys that thought he'd pound these kids. And he's doing roll call, "Anthony Dodge." And my son raised his hand, goes, "AJ." And the guy goes, "Look, man, I don't care what the guys in the hood call you. I'm going to call you by the name your parents gave you. And my parents call me AJ." And he wrote my son up for being disobedient. And I went in, and I'm a teacher, and I came over. I left my school, and I came over there. And I said, "His name is AJ. That is what his name's supposed to be." Blame my wife's family for it even being listed as Anthony James. He is AJ. Nobody calls him Anthony. And that's how you will address my son. And by the way, I'm also a teacher. If you ever talk to my son like that again, you won't be a teacher ever again. And I'm not one of those parents that my kid's always right, but this dude had a reputation, even in my school, for being a bit of a jerk of a sub. So this was my chance to just bring him down a peg. He wound up getting fired because he went too far with a kid like 2 weeks later.
Dadgum.
Fixed his little red wagon.
Yeah. So yeah, John, that's what we keep saying. When they threw in the middle name, it was all over. It was all over.
Well,
when they threw in the middle name.
Some of the long-time viewers of my channel may remember my niece. She used to appear ever so often in videos. Her name's Cheyenne. Well, her middle name is Bailey. So you always knew when my niece would kind of cross the line a little bit, because my sister-in-law would look at her and say, "Cheyenne Bailey?"
Yeah. Yeah. Middle name was never used in a good context. You know, yeah. Your parents never said, "Anthony Scott, come here." It was always "Anthony Scott." Uh-oh. And like I said, when they threw the whole name in there, I'd be in my bedroom, "Anthony Scott Dodge," and I'd be like, "John, you can have my baseball card collection. Give Joe my football cards. My Hot Wheel cars go to Mike." You know, you start making out your last will and testament, and that's the case where you are rubbing. If you're a young person, we grew up in a different age where we got our butts whooped, and so you were heading up the stairs going. You had already felt that first whack on the butt before you got near it. You already go because your dad, my dad's up there going, "Anthony Scott Dodge, I told you," you know, and you were like, "Oh, I'm going to die."
Usually when I walk in, I just walk in, look over at my niece and say, "Hi, man." So.
Well, I'm going to get off anyway, Anthony. It's 2:30 in the morning.
Hey, that's private information. Oh, I mean, you're leaving. Okay, all right, Lee. Yeah, it is very late where you are. I really should.
Yeah, take care, Lee. I think I'll be falling soon as well.
No. Okay,
Yep.
take care, Mark. Thank you guys for popping up on screen.
Same radio, aren't you?
As you know, Lee, you'll never walk alone, so take care.
Oh, don't even go there, because we're not winning the cup.
Dude, I went there, parked the car, and built a house.
Do you know, though, we're not going anywhere. Everton have lost today against...
It's Everton. I'm sorry.
I know,
You picked the wrong side of Liverpool. You picked the wrong side of Liverpool.
The way we played on the derby now on Wednesday, we'll probably get beat by you at derby.
Derby?
I should have worn my. I'll be wearing my Mo Salah shirt.
Yeah.
Could be worse. You could have been beaten by Stoke City.
I know, yeah.
Liverpool all the way, man. I've been a Liverpool fan for decades.
Jackie's Liverpool all the way. My name is Anfield Rober and Mablow. and I'm proud of it.
But of course, Everton started at Anfield Road.
Yeah, you did.
Everton started at Anfield Road, then built, what is it, Goddard Park?
Goodison
no.
Park.
Goodden Park. Then we've got Bromley
Right.
Moor Dock now. We've got the Bromley Moor Dock, the new place.
And to this day, I've never forgiven Elton John. Because I finally got to go to Liverpool. I finally got to visit Anfield Park, and my tour was supposed to let me go into the Cup and see it all. But Elton John was having a concert, so it was all closed, so I couldn't even look through a door and see it.
Could you? I even went in the museum as well.
This is why I hate it when people give concerts or specials at certain places, because there are some people who are there. This is their only time they may ever be in that location, and it's closed because you're doing your concert there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do your concerts at the concert halls.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so I will never forgive Elton John for that.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
But on the bright side, I may just go back to Liverpool.
Hey,
I've never been to Liverpool. I've been to Manchester.
It was brilliant when you come to Liverpool. I enjoyed it.
Well, I want to come to the next time we go to the UK. It might not be right in the summer, because Joyce will be retiring and she wants to try traveling places at different times of the year. So we might be going at the same time as Getz again, so we can go to Getz, but we'll actually be doing part of our vacation in the UK. That's 2026. We're going to the UK.
Yeah, I'd love to go get train show, but yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm looking forward to.
I want to go to a game. I need somebody to get me a ticket, and I want to go to a game.
I know we were going to source it. We're going to get onto it. We'll get onto it.
You have to go into that, sign up for that lottery, because they're impossible to get.
Yeah,
I've only been to Worley, which was at the NEC.
Mm-hmm.
It's the
Well, we went to Warley, but it was at its new location.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I went to the old location.
Yeah.
I haven't been there. I've actually been to make. I went when it was at Chester Cathedral. The videos on my channel, and I met Pete Waterman.
Yeah.
I didn't
no,
just meet Pete Waterman though. I actually met Richard, New Junction.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
He is down.
Well, we met everybody. We met so many people at Getz. It was ridiculous. I mean, in a great way. It was so nice to meet everybody. I mean, there's pros and cons. Meeting everybody at one time, you don't necessarily get to spend a lot of time
The
with
best
one
one
person.
I liked that you met, Anthony, was Tony Northeastern.
Yeah, I mean, that's why, like when we got to go hang out with Jim Hovermotion at his house, or, you came with us to Anfield and we did some of the Liverpool stuff together, you and Jackie, which was a good time. But I got to go to Alan, and we spent the whole day with Alan Wiles from Dragon Junction. We spent the whole day with Jim from Hovermotion, and we had to leave to catch a train. And Jim's like, no, stay another hour or so and I'll drive you back. And he drove us all the way from North Manchester to Liverpool, and then went home on his own just so he could hang out with us more. I mean, that's
Nice.
I mean, I could go on forever about the beauty of all the people we've met, and then we tried to do the same thing. Like we held a gun to Arty's head and made him take his gun to Melbourne so we could see Greg.
I felt like a
I'm
major.
going to go off the Streamlabs now. I'll still be watching on YouTube because I need to get outside and make myself something to eat. So I'm going to log out of Streamlabs.
All right, take care. Thanks for hanging out and showing your stuff there, Mark.
You're welcome, bud. Catch you later.
Unfortunately, Arty had relatives that made palinka, so he was willing to go.
It's a long way to come. Good 8-hour drive to come down.
Well, he had relatives in the area. We wanted to go down and see Melbourne, and because of that storm that blew in about that time, we left Melbourne early. But like I said, we have a special memory. I mean, we got to meet you, and we saw kangaroos in the wild for the first time. Although it's hard to call it in the wild when they're just on somebody's property over there. But it was a wild herd and not something that you do.
And it was on the verge of suburbia.
Yeah,
you couldn't get any much closer to suburbia than a couple of blocks over, and you've got houses.
Yeah.
But
And there was a house up from where they were, but like you were telling us, you and Heather were telling us they just hopped the fence.
Yeah, oh yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
But we just had that epic day when we were leaving. I think we were leaving. I don't know what the beach is. It's like near St. Kilda, and it's like Black Beach, Black Pearl Beach, something like that. Pardon?
Black Rock?
Could be. It was Black something beach.
Well,
And
there's Black Rock. Yep.
Maybe it was Black Rock Beach. But yeah, the rain was kind of going horizontal with the wind. The storm was all, and Joyce, it was just so funny. I just got this videotaped in my head. Joyce, normally when the weather's like that, she's get me out of this and get me in the car. And she was just standing there watching the ocean, just grinning. She was just that was the day the ocean reached into her soul and said, "I'm here forever."
Yeah.
She had seen the ocean many times in Australia up to that point. And I think I had already gone swimming in the ocean. Maybe it was before I went swimming. But that's when the ocean reached in and grabbed Joyce's soul and said, "You'll never get me out now." And she's a sea change has occurred in her in that little regard.
Yeah. I think it's time I go bed.
Yeah, go to bed. Because we're going. Black Rock Beach it was.
Tomorrow, I'm live streaming tomorrow evening, 6:30.
Well, I want to make sure I wake up in time for Hot Dog Pilot Andy's live stream, which is 8 a.m. for me. But if I go to bed at 1, it's going to be hard to wake up for.
Yeah.
Well, that's midnight for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 6:30. 6:30 in the evening for you. It'll be late as well, won't it, Greg?
Yeah, it will be. Yeah.
That's why my live stream on Fridays is the perfect time because it's early morning and a lot of the Aussies are getting up.
This will be
at the moment.
At least at this time of year.
Yeah.
The
because
people
normally
today it's 8 evening when I start, and continental Europe it's 9 when I start. So it's not it's only a bad time for Americans that are working.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to look at it after this one. I'm going to look at the times. So I want to try and look at times for different countries because you've got to try and. I know them catching them. I don't even know how I've got to the mark I've got to because I'm at 1,008 subs.
Well, like I said, I just put out a video. That's done 5,000 in less than a week, and I'm gobsmacked. But it's also added 50 subscribers to me in a week.
Yeah, well, do you know where I'm grabbing I'm not grabbing them from the videos. I'm grabbing the subscribers from my live streams, my live builds.
You tend to, but every now and then if you put out the right video, it seems to. Because I'm
working on one at the moment. I'm working on a big scenery video at the moment. I'm putting fences in, and I've got
my live stream is what draws people because I don't put enough content, and people aren't coming to my channel for Matt Clark or the Parody.
What works for me is what is working at the moment is my live streams because I'm getting the watch hours. I've actually got if I wanted to take monetization, I could take it. I've got the watch hours for monetization now.
Yeah, well, that's why I monetize because they were throwing the commercials on me anyhow. I do the most limited form, like I allow blocking because all the people that says I don't control the commercials. Yes, you do. You can control whether they can skip the commercial or how long the commercial. So you go to some of these channels and they force you to watch 2 45-second commercials before you can stop them or get it. That's the channel operator because they're making more money by allowing that. But I don't like my live streams. I get prompted every 10 minutes. Now would be a good time to pop in a mid scroll ad. And I'm like, no, I'm not throwing a commercial in my live stream. But I do monetize because they're going to throw commercials. So I want a little piece of the pie.
Of course.
Yeah, it may not be much, but it's still worth whatever you get.
Buys me a locomotive a year. And because I've now got more viewers and I've hit another high of watch hours, consistent watch hours, I get a little bit more of the pie. So how much?
I'm nowhere near it. So
yeah. Yeah,
But
I
then
mean,
I had
again, I get lucky.
Your layout, though, I've been a subscriber of your channel for some time now,
Yeah.
Greg.
Yeah, I may have. Well, you know, I've been watching you for a long time too, Lee.
I can't
same with
believe I've
Nancy.
been on YouTube 6 years.
Yeah, I've been on
that's-
7, I think, 6 or
Well, I've
7.
been on
Yeah,
YouTube
that's
since
year 7 for
2000.
me
I
too.
think
So.
it's 7.
Yeah,
you've been
I've been
doing
on
it.
YouTube since
Six, not
2007 or 2008, but I didn't start posting videos until 2018.
Yeah,
well, that's what I'm talking about,
I've come a
posting
long
videos.
way
I've
from
been
when I
watching.
first started. Because when I started, I used to live stream and do everything off my phone. And now the setup I've got,
Yeah.
4 cameras. I've got me zoom in camera. I've come
Yeah.
a long way
It's-
from what it used to be like.
And the thing is, there's no, you know, because I'll always feel, and I guess a lot of channels do, I always feel like a small channel, because even though people look at my subscriptions now, because I had, like, when I was at Gets, there were people like, you got how many subscribers? Oh, I got like, they wanted to know me because in some way they saw me as access to more people, but it's like, I got 2,400 subscribers now.
I'm getting told by Wacky now.
I usually only get 150 to 250 views per video. Now, yes, I had this one video that's just gone nuts, but if you go look at most of the videos I post,
If you put the right
150 to
videos
300
out there,
views.
you get the views on it.
I'm averaging 100 to 250 views per video, but I don't have that many subscribers.
I'm only averaging 100 views per video.
But I do nothing to draw view. I'm rarely posting stuff that there's a certain way you should do a video and there's a certain thing you should do. And I'm not putting out, I mean, if I were to tie in, I've got a friend in Canada who does Miracle Trains, and I could go right now to the video he watched of mine where he posted and said, after watching your channel, you've reignited my love of Miracle. And then a month later, he, put on another video. I just got my first box of track and stuff, and I'm going to start building the layout. And then he started a channel. Okay. And at that time, I had 500-600 subscribers, somewhere around there. And he had 0. He now has 15,000.
Yeah.
Well, I started off my
thumbnail is the one that catches it, and the thumbnail and what you call a video.
Well, there's all the things you should do, but there's other things about. Greg, what were you saying?
I started off live streaming, but because of knowing that I was going into hospital and didn't know when, I just had to stop because I couldn't do it regularly, and I was in and out of hospital having tests. It was just really hard. Even just doing videos was really hard at that stage.
It is. It's hard to edit as well.
Sorry, Lee.
It's okay. No, it's hard to edit. It's hard to try and get the videos going. I've got a video up on I've got one of, where is it? Cards up here. I've got to edit it.
I mean, it's real simple in model trains. Okay, it's real simple to get, quote, a lot of views.
Yeah.
The crowd, the big crowd of model train fans, they want to see you actively building a layout, laying your track, adding your scenics, whatever part you're in, but where you're consistent, you're showing step by step. That will get you. It's not just, oh, hey, everybody, I'm doing a video where I'm building this model, or hey, everybody, I'm doing this. The big channels are almost all something progressive. Now, there are clearly exceptions, because another thing could be doing consistent reviews where, hey, here's a new model train, but not everybody can afford that. If you look at Sam Train from the UK.
Layout. This is the other layout. This one, Greg. This isn't the loft layout. This is in the hobby room.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Because when I started watching you, was in the loft.
Yeah, I've still got the loft layout, but
you work more on this one.
Yeah. I have got videos to edit for the loft. I've been working on the loft and working on a secret project.
Yep.
Right. I don't find editing hard. I find that very easy.
I tend to. My problem is I just naturally talk too much, and deciding where to stop and cut, and say, okay, I went. because I don't script. I say I'm going to do a video about this, but then I'll start talking about something and decide I should probably explain it all.
I've got this. I'm working on a cold shuttle at the moment.
Yeah. I don't script mine, and I end up with a bit of verbal diarrhea too. And I sit there and I end up hacking. The amount I hack in my videos.
I don't. I leave the bloomers in with me.
I always aim my videos. Well, when I made those kind of videos, I always made my videos aimed at. Basically, I pictured my students and my family members that had. What are you doing, Anthony? What are you doing? I wasn't trying to show it to the model train community. And then I started that show called The Maryland Outsider. And that's when my subscriptions went boom, because now I was explaining the Maryland track system. And I had all these people from continental Europe coming on going, finally, somebody's speaking in English instead of that bloody German. And this was Danes. Danes and French and everybody else, like, finally somebody explained it in English. And I explained as much as I knew, which was about 20 shows worth. And all those videos, and I had like 4, 5, 6, up to about 700 subscribers at the time. And all those videos went 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 views. And then I stopped doing those videos. And although my subscriptions didn't go down, they kind of leveled off. But the views on anything I posted. But by that time, I had started doing the comedy stuff. I started doing the parody songs, and those don't draw people. There are people who support it, but nobody's coming to my channel because of the parody songs. But I started live streaming. And that became my bread and butter. I love live streaming. I love
live streams. I love live streaming.
And then blame Randall for Matt Clark.
Well, as Anthony knows, because he's been here, I'm really into live streaming if I can, but it's not that easy.
Are you going to bring your live stream back, Greg?
Yeah, I've been contemplating it, but the problem I've got is I have a grandson, and every time he comes here, he expects to see, and he was really disappointed yesterday because I only had one train running. I can only do so much, and also because of my operation, unlike normal people, I've had most of my major muscles cut in my stomach. So for me to bend over or to do stuff can be really, really painful. So it's a slow process for me.
Yeah, it's, and that's where so many people are like, oh, you should just do this. It's not necessarily feasible. There are some people who have, let's forget not to dismiss, but outside in your case, because we were there, we saw the physical discomfort and of trying to work on your layout. It has to be done in very small specs. We've seen that. But then there are people that are just scared to get in front of a camera. And, it doesn't take much to, you like with our parody songs, we invite negative comments, especially if I sing. I have to be thick skinned because when I sing, except for maybe one song, I'm going to get a barrage of emails and nasty comments.
Yeah, I understand.
And that's even if you ignore all the thumbs down.
Yeah.
But it's the positive comments and it's the people that support you.
Really matter in my eyes.
But that's what my channel became. I left trying to do the algorithm stuff and grow my channel, which is weird because my channel has actually grown faster, but it's the live streams. It's the word of mouth. One of the first things, Andy Hot Dog Pilot came into one of my live streams and then he came again. And he, was like, wow, I really love this live stream. And then we popped into a live stream and he was there and he told all those people, he goes, Anthony Dodge is the best live stream on YouTube. And I was like, he didn't know I was there. I had just was watching and listening and reading the chat. I hadn't logged in yet. And I'm like, oh, and all of a sudden more and more people are coming over. Now I will say one of my biggest growths was negativity. Yeah, I posted a rant about, I didn't name the channel, about a channel that was very rude to another channel.
Yeah.
And I, did a video where I said this kind of crap does not belong anywhere. If you don't like a channel, you don't like a channel, but you don't have to call somebody in the channel fat and ugly or stupid and ignorant or all these names that this person uses when he doesn't like a channel. And it doesn't belong in the hobby.
YouTube is a telly that goes round the world.
It is a dapole. It's a dapole, but it's under the Gauge Master brand, and it's a 156. That's the one I waited 2 years for. Okay. Sorry, I meant in the chat.
No. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
When I started, I had already a whole heap of cameras in my tunnels, and they've been there since ever I've been on here. But I've had lots of cameras, I've had no cameras, and I've had all sorts of things. It is lunchtime. Oh, it's way past lunchtime.
Yeah, it is. It's coming up for 3 o'clock for me.
Right.
I just need to go and look at OBS.
So anyhow, why don't we go ahead and wrap this up? But we always seem to find a topic about the time I think, okay, maybe we should wrap it up, and we let it roll for a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And all right, next week we are on Arty's channel. Next week it'll be on Arty's channel, and I'll just be the
host,
sidekick.
I'll be the bemusing sidekick. But it is, it's my bedtime, and I actually have a video that should be posting in about 4 minutes.
Right. Yeah, I was just going to say right quick, Anthony, it will be nice when I do eventually go back home. That way I can it'll allow me to catch up on the reviews, because I do have some stuff down there I got to get reviewed.
Oh, I know.
Plus,
Joyce and I think of you all the time. Joyce and I think about you all the time, Randall. We think about many of you all the time.
I've had what videos of yours to watch, Randall?
Well, he hasn't been able to make videos because he's stuck.
Yeah, I haven't been able to make videos.
I have to go back and watch his other videos.
Speaking of which, Randall, I should maybe talk to you privately, but you said you don't have a computer?
Yes.
I have a laptop. Do you want one? I have like 5 laptops. Do you want one?
I mean, I have
a good laptop. I mean, you could either have this one or another one. If you ever wanted a laptop, just have one. It's yours.
I mean, I'll send you some money for it.
We'll talk on Facebook sometime.
Yeah.
And,
all right. Yeah, we'll do that. All right.
All right. So anyhow, on the what's that?
Thank you for letting me up. You take it easy as well, Greg.
Thanks, Lee. Yeah, you too.
I will do.
Hopefully,
you guys have a good one.
We have a new parody song coming out. Sure. We'll get Joyce singing sooner or later.
And also, Anthony, it'll be nice to fire up the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode Series again. So
yeah, that's true. I've been missing those. I've been missing Fredo Baggino the Fourth, because Greg here also appeared. Greg here also appeared in Matt Clark. He appeared in Matt Clark Series 2. He was the general that they got stoned and sent back to start the war.
Oh, okay.
He was General Discount.
General Discount. I love that name.
Yeah, he was General Discount. Most of the names have some sort of joke. It's just letting people try to figure out just how far the joke is. I mean, I mean, Matt Clark's about the only character that doesn't have a joke to his name somehow, or Smokey, I guess you could say Smokey, but everybody else, there is some prime joke to their name. Some are blatant, some you have to think about. Some are just like Don a Lot is the fun one to play with. I'm just done a lot. You look like you have.
Take care, Attila, and go and have some lunch and have a good afternoon.
All right, everybody, take care, and we will see you on Arty's channel next week. And if you're masochistic, we'll be back here in 2 weeks.
You too, Greg.
Bye, everybody. Good night.
Bye.
Good night. Thanks, everybody, for coming up.
See you guys. Have a good one. See you, Anthony. See you, Greg.